obviously, Bruce and Harry want to bring you guys in, kind of on the other side, the money man over here, so to speak. What is it like financing a property like a soft brand? I mean, how do you as you said, you've been doing it for a long time. So when you saw these types of soft brands and developers who wanted to build kind of an independent hotel, and I'll take a step back. It's interesting now that people are building independent hotels now and affiliating them with a soft brand right off the bat. Before it was kind of you had an existing asset and then you would affiliate. But how are you seeing then from the finance side of it all?
Well, I think the finance market really has certain guidelines that makes it much more challenging. And if you have a strong location and a strong borrower, it really helps. I don't know if there's any magic. I think it's a combination of more good points than bad points. Loan to cost is a very significant criteria. Debt service coverage ratios, as well as debt yield. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes a little difficult to get lenders to appreciate a certain projection. But I think for the most part, a well-located, well-conceived project with, I think, hopefully a developer that's been down the road before.
Right.
It's very difficult today for a new development team to come in that's never done a hotel before. Mm-hmm. And lenders today look at where the borrower is located, where the property is located, and you have an interesting problem where some lenders don't want to finance a property with a developer that's not in their zone.
Right.
And then if you go to the same bank in that location, they'll say, well, the borrower is located in New York, mm-hmm. so we can't finance this property in Chicago. So it's a matter of finding the right ingredients. And there are some lenders that, and the lenders that are willing to step up to the plate, usually can't do very large deals. Mm-hmm. So they're the middle market lenders that, perhaps up to 15, 18, 20 million. There are a lot of lenders in that space that don't normally see the large prestigious deals, and they're happy to do it as long as their bucket isn't full, which is another thing you keep hearing today. Our bucket is full with hotels, or we'll only do it for our existing clientele. So you have that challenge. And then it's a matter of going out and finding the lender that has been overlooked, that hasn't seen a lot of product, mm-hmm. and is willing to take a chance. But
it really comes down to sponsorship then? I mean, when looking at, is it more important the sponsorship part of the equation or the brand? I mean, a hard brand might be easier to finance than a quote unquote soft brand. So sponsorship is the most important part then?
Sponsorship is important, but the soft brand seems to be more the smaller hotel, and a lot of the larger lenders that are in the market constantly don't want to get involved in remote areas. So you have to rely on local lenders, and if the deal is too large for that locale, it's very, very hard. I mean, I had a terrible time financing a deal upstate New York because mm-hmm. there weren't any major lenders that were prepared to do hotels.
Yeah.
And so eventually you find off-market sources, but they're more expensive.
Was the one upstate a soft brand hotel or just a?
It was a soft brand.
Okay. Yeah. Where we see where's the concentration of kind of the soft brand hotels? It sounds like it can be a urban or a suburban players or even resort. I mean, is there a kind of sweet spot for it?
Just to add on to what he was saying, lenders are just about understanding what a soft brand is. When we first opened our hotel, mm-hmm. first one, we had to explain to them what a soft brand was. It was several phone calls and several layers to explain the same thing. It is affiliated with a brand, but they didn't understand or didn't want to understand versus a brand. If you send a brand, there's no phone calls because they already understand what it is.
Yeah.
I think the only benefit of having several soft brands is that at least people will be aware of what it entails.
And to pick up on that and to what Bruce was saying, we're seeing from a development standpoint a lot of independent hotels. We focus in kind of high barrier to entry urban markets, and we're doing more purely independent hotels now than we've ever done. And I think part of that is this kind of gluttony now of soft brands from all the major brands, because sponsorship is key. If they can get the lending, maybe they're paying 60% instead of 70%, but they're willing to put that extra 10% in knowing that they can do whatever they want, and that, you know what, 2 years down the road when I want to sell it or want to go to refinance it, I'll pick a flag. I'll pick a soft brand, because now instead of having maybe 1 or 2, by that time there's going to be 6 or 7, and if I'm in a high barrier to entry market, I know I'm the first one to get there and there's no one right behind me. So it's opening up for our developers, I think, a lot of freedom to do that, and whether they do it by the time they get their lending or they do it 1 year, 2 year after opening, we're not seeing that rush to pick a brand or soft brand yet. We're seeing people kind of a little bit more willing to wait and do it the way they want and see how they float before they bring somebody on.
Interesting.
I agree with GAUTAM. The soft brand's so new to the market, even though it's been around for 15 years. Still, to the lending market, still relatively new, where you have a brand you can get on a Smith Travel report. You can kind of see what the brand's doing and how they're performing and so on and so forth. But the soft brands are these products that are historic properties and unique products. And in some markets you put them into, you know, if there's a right market, they just do incredibly well. On the other hand, if you put them in markets where it's a soft market, they're going to do, you know, not going to do as well, just like the branded hotels.
Right.
But it's still very new, so I think as there's some experience and some performance, I think it'll be easier to finance those projects. But right now, well, basically, a lot of hotels are tough to finance right now. But if you have the right lender that has experience, or the owner has experience with the lender, it can get done. And if you have the theme, I mean, Mark described it. When you go to brand these properties, it really is a lot of effort. I mean, you go through a lot of time. I mean, you spend a lot of dollars, and you spend on marketing afterwards.
Right, sure.
And you have to take a look at this thing as if you're going alone, and you have to create that theme. Then you have to design to that theme, and then you have to make sure you execute flawlessly in order to really win in the market. It's not just branding, or just putting on the soft brand. You have to do what you bought the brand for, whether it's an independent or you buy the soft brand from the flag. And if you do it well, it's really a home run, and you have a lot of fun doing it.
Sure.
If you think you're just going to put the soft brand on it, it's going to perform by itself, you're probably going to be disappointed.